problems of the world are complex. And in particular, we don't have solutions yet to get over climate change, to solve conflict and war, overcome them, and also to solve the financial crisis issues. I could also have shown this picture over here. And how are we going classical about these kinds of problems? Well, in principle, we've been going to a library, we've been identifying books to read, we've studied them carefully, we have engaged PhD students and postdocs. It took a few years to get results in many cases. And then there are obstacles to innovation. Alexander from Humboldt, for example, said there are 3 stages of scientific discovery. First, people deny it's true. Then they deny it's important. And finally, they deny or they created the wrong person. So we're losing time, actually. It often takes 20 years or even 30 until a discovery is finally used. And so Max Planck has pointed out that science progresses funeral by funeral. John Rockman thinks this is not enough. Why wait that long? We no longer have the luxury to wait for funerals. And so we need a new approach. More speed, more capacity, more impact. And how would we generate this? Well, the solution is citizen science. We need to bring together the best ideas of many minds. And in the very same way as an array of astronomical antennas is more powerful than one single huge antenna to explore the universe and our Earth, we also need to bring together the activities and ideas of many people. Now, for some time, I have advocated that we should build a planetary nervous system. We were asking for money to do this. And one night, it became clear to me that we don't need to wait. We can do it right away, because all it takes is you and your smartphone. Of course, we can connect these smartphones to build a global measurement system. There are about 15 sensors in each of these smartphones for luminosity, for noise, for acceleration. And here's some measurements of acceleration data. What can we actually do with them? Well, for example, we could detect earthquakes and warn our friends. Now, once the earthquake is there, what do we do? Well, classically, we had this kind of survival kit. Then I was organizing a hackathon in San Francisco together with Swissnets. And it turned out that today we have completely different kinds of survival tools. And they look like this. It's again our smartphone with all the apps that we can have over there. So within one day, 80 people have been working on ideas. There were 3 winning teams, and they came up with a completely new approach to survive in the occasion of an earthquake or some other kind of disaster. One team was trying to make sure that we would have charge beacons, so we could charge our smartphones even if the power grid is down. Moreover, Amigo Cloud came up with an app that allowed to take pictures of bridges and buildings and other infrastructures that were broken, document that, annotate it, and upload it as soon as you had connectivity. This connectivity can now also be produced by ad hoc networks in a peer-to-peer way, and so we don't need to have a central infrastructure working for this. And finally, Helbing came up with a third app which allowed you to say, I need some water, I need some gas, I need some clothes, whatever. And people in the neighborhood could say, well, actually, I have something at home, I could help you. And it would bring together demand and supply in the neighborhood. So these are tools for people to help themselves and would free up resources of the public disaster response team, which would require up to 72 hours actually to be fully operational. So this is good for the government and for the people, but it has a much more bottom-up involvement. Well, what we need to have, though, is a system that we can trust, an information system that is controlled by us. And this is actually what we're doing with our NervousNet app. So you can really determine whether you want to turn on or off these different sensors in the phone, whether you want to share or not, and later on you'll also be able to determine for what kind of purpose. You want to have a personal data store, such as open PDS developed by MIT, but also line data concept was just proposed could be used too. And there you could actually determine who would use what data for what purpose. So you are really in control. Now we are entering the time of the Internet of Things, and we'll have 150 billion sensors distributed in the world in about 10 years from now. And these sensors would be everywhere. That could be a scary surveillance nightmare if we don't build this Internet of Things as a citizen web. So this is very important for democracy, that we build this bottom up. We citizens. It should be a participatory system. And in this way we could create big data ourselves so that we can control open data streams, real time, and open data Wikipedia, you could say. As you can see, this is extremely exciting with young people working in this project. And it's a lot of fun actually. You can gamify it, you can come up with all sorts of ideas, you can turn cities into adventures and whatever comes to your mind. All this will be possible. And with a micropayment system, you will be able to run your own business, in fact, and collaborate with others. So let's do this together. The principle is give and take. You can take data, but we would expect you to give data back. And the same thing with the measurement algorithm computer code. So we would have an open source code approach. And that means you could download these algorithms, you could use them, and you would have ideas what else you could do with it. You would gather your friends and sit together, change this computer code, and upload it for everyone. So we could draw a powerful information and innovation ecosystem together. An ecosystem that would create new opportunities for everyone. For business, for politics, for science, and for the citizens in the first place. Now, this is not a dream anymore. We have started to do this. We're working on NervousNet. And here's just one very first application. These are small beacons that allow us to measure proximity. We didn't want to measure locations of individuals for privacy reasons, but sometimes it would be interesting to see how the social interaction works. So we have a maker spirit in our team. So one of the first things we did is we bought a 3D printer. Very important, we can basically do everything ourselves. Now then we distributed these beacons in buildings, and my team wanted to go to the Chaos Computer conference over there, and they distributed 100 of these beacons to people I don't know by name, and they don't know, but they took them around and we could actually see the interaction patterns of these people. So that's a demonstration that this system actually works. So what could we do with such a system in the future, with all these different sensors that we could use for collective measurement? Well, we could create awareness of our situation and our impact on the world. We could create new compasses for decision makers. We could even map the globe in 3D. Mark Qualified, one of our ETH colleagues, has been working on this with others, and so from flicker photographs, it's possible to reconstruct, for example, the Colosseum in 3D. This information is out there, and you can do that with any place in the world. You don't have to travel there. The photographs are uploaded by the people themselves. And in similar ways, could we map environmental change and who causes it, could map resources and who uses them, we could map conflict and how they come about, we could map innovations and the global flow of ideas, we could map disease spreading, and we could build self-organizing systems with real-time information, allowing us to come up with adaptive feedbacks to avoid, for example, this annoying congestion that we have every day. So we could stabilize traffic flows, increase capacity. We've demonstrated that with partners from industry. We can apply similar principles to cities. We can reduce urban congestion with self-organizing traffic lights. And actually, the impacts can be significant, not just for motorized traffic, but also for public transport, for pedestrians and cyclists. And it's good for the environment too. Now the question is, could we transfer this principle of smart cities also, besides smart production, to a smart economy or even a smart society? It's not technological systems, so it's more difficult to build these self-organizing systems. But we know from the work of Elinor Ostrom, a Nobel Prize winner in economics, that self-organization also works in society given proper design principles. Now, what could we do? First of all, I think we should start measuring externalities, all these sensors, and then finally charge this to those people and companies that produce these externalities. That would allow the principle of the invisible hand to work finally. Then, here is an example from Japan, where citizen scientists have started to measure nuclear radiation because they didn't trust anymore public information. So this is the information that citizens not only produce but also use because it's trustable information. In terms of society, reputation systems are systems that would actually help to improve quality, responsible behavior to support self-organization. And we could go a few steps further and come up with so-called social information technology that would help us in various kinds of situations where we could have lustful interactions or favorable interactions. And I personally call these kinds of social information technology social mirror to support situational awareness, social adaptive to help us interact with other people with different interests, different cultural backgrounds, social protector to help us avoid situations of exploitation, and finally social money, allowing us to engage into fruitful exchange. And I'd also like to point out that we should engage more in discovering the cultural universe, to discover the success principles of all the countries in our world, because each culture has particular success principles. At the moment, we could say we're still in an age where we're living with a lot of cultural analphabetism. So if we know all these success principles, we can combine them to build more successful global systems. So get ready, take your smartphone out, team up with your friends and colleagues, join the NeversNet community today, and improve the goal together. Thank you very much.